What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. I hope you're all having a very good day today. Now, in case you haven't been here before, thank you so much for tuning in. And in case you're not subscribed, please make sure you're subscribed and click the little bell so you get notifications. You know, all that other good stuff that everybody says. And, make sure you thumbs up this video or thumbs down it, whatever. It helps the algorithm and stuff. I mean, because that's what we do. We worry about the algorithm. And believe me, if it's not working out for me, what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do if this isn't working, if you didn't get notifications for this video or anything like that, the first thing I'm going to do is blame YouTube. It's all YouTube's fault. It's not YouTube's fault that, it's just all YouTube's fault. It's not my fault that, I'm a small channel and I didn't pre-plan this video and have a nice little thumbnail and everything out there for you to check out and, just something to tune in, because I really doubt you guys know that I do this live stream every single day, here on the Second Street Marvel. But, for those of you that are here, gosh darn, man, I went ahead and got into character a little too early, didn't I? Well, hell, man, I don't know. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, like, hey, man, what's this dude sitting there, like on the TV, on my boob tube, sitting there in his undies? Okay, well, I'm telling you, I'm not in my undies, man. I just got this shirt on. I don't even have any undies on. Anyway, yeah, so anyway, folks, thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel today. I apologize about that. I don't know what just came over me there. But anyway, I am a few minutes late here. I apologize, folks, in case you guys haven't been following me here on the channel or been here on one of these live streams. Thank you all so much for being here. Now, today, in case you guys weren't here yesterday, I actually went on and talked about a few things, just kind of going on, how, I guess you could say maybe some civil and uncivil discourse out there in the world regarding just movies and things like that. And and I didn't even realize that at the time, one of the things that I was talking about there was, I'm telling everybody, like, God, can't you guys try something else? Try a different approach to stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we're all geeks about certain stuff. You like movies, you like music, you like comic books or whatever it is, and everybody has their own opinions on it. And people start to argue about this stuff. And the one thing I realized, I was telling everybody, like, try a new approach. Instead of spreading hate, try some love. You know what I mean? Try some love. Michelle P., welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. And the thing is, I started to realize as I was going on, like, man, I bet you all these people think I'm a damn hippie or something, like, oh, make love, not war. Well, that's not necessarily the case. It's not that. It's just, because I was talking about growing as YouTube content creators, just stuff like that, and, just let's find a different approach to things. And, I totally feel that way. I mean, and when I say, share some love, that doesn't just share what you love. It doesn't mean you have to love everybody or everybody's opinion or anything like that. And I'm going to try to keep this brief again today. Maverick Pilgrim, welcome to the live stream. I appreciate you being here. Now, like I was saying yesterday, like some people need to find a different approach. You guys can see here on my channel, I express my opinions. I never try to get too extreme about anything. One of the things that I always try to look at is understanding. Understanding where people are coming from, hearing their gripes out, and just different things like that. And I think there's a lot more people out there that should try that. And maybe they have tried it and they got frustrated. But, again, what are frustrations? Frustrations are pretty much things, like how we may feel about something that differs from somebody else, and we just can't take it. We just can't find a different way to voice our opinions, or a different way to intricate our opinions, or anything like that. That's ultimately what it comes down to. And aside from the fact that maybe you don't like exactly the subject matter that we're talking about. And, I was talking about taking a different approach to it. It seems like, and everybody acts like, there's when it comes to these kinds of debates, like there's always two sides, there's always the lovers and there's always the haters. And, it's funny because each side always tries to act like the other person's the hater or the other person's the defender, or whatever the case may be. And, that's probably very true, but pretty much for the most part, everybody, I mean, you feel the way you feel, and there's nothing wrong with that. But pretty much everybody always only picks their side. You know what I mean? Somebody from the other side can't have a valid argument or valid reason or anything like that for not liking the same thing that we like or what we like or dislike. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, there just can't, there's no real middle ground here. You know what I mean? But that's not how things ever move forward in our society. Is, how we usually move forward is everyone realizes the one thing is that we got to compromise. Yeah, I gotta compromise, man. You're not always gonna get what you want, and that's not what life is. Life isn't, all isn't all flowers, and you just get what you want. It's just not how life is, and I'm sure we all know that. And it would be nice if that was the case. If we could just have everything could be, the way that we enjoyed them, and that goes for everything. Whether it's music, movies, comic books. We see just all these different things out there in the world, and people are at arms about it. And the funny thing is I was talking about all of this stuff yesterday, and then something happened. Something really odd happened yesterday. And again, the explanation for the shirt, for being in my underwear or whatnot, is actually I was just shooting a video for just some stuff, man. I've been procrastinating on bad that I had to get shot for another fellow content creator to hopefully get this video submitted for his collaboration he's been doing for the Rookie Critic. And if you guys haven't checked out the Rookie Critic, go to his channel and check out what he does, man. He does some pretty great videos, some pretty funny stuff. And granted, it's not for everybody, but I'm a person, like I said, I'd like to take everything in. I like to see different people's point of views, and I'm ultimately here to be entertained. And whether you love something or you hate something, I mean, I can be entertained by it, just like the exact thing that I wanted to talk about today. Now, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, I had some friends, God, who was it that brought it to my attention? I think it was Drunk Threepio, actually. We got this group, this live stream that we do every Tuesday on Drunk Threepio's channel, where it's called Some Black Guys and Drunk, and basically somehow, some way, Drunk Threepio went out there and assembled this awesome panel of people, and we're all fans of different things, and we all have different varying opinions on all of these different subjects as well. And somehow he put together this awesome panel. I'm very proud to be part of it. And but anyway, Drunk 3PO brought this video to my attention yesterday, from some guy out there begging for attention. Maverick Pilgrim says, we need to get back to enjoying conversation, not just voicing your opinion unchallenged in our echo chamber of choice. And that's so true. And the thing is so Drunk 3PO in this chat, between several of us different content creators shared this video, and I'm not going to share the video. I'm not even going to put a link to it. You guys can go to my Twitter or go to Twitter or whatnot and find out all the twits and what they're saying about it. Basically, this guy went out there and did this video called, like, I don't know, my review of the Phantom Menace or something like that. And basically what he did was he went and, dug through a bunch of old videos and took out a bunch of sound bites and put together this clip, this 47-minute video. It's nearly an hour long, talking about people and their hate. Their hate for the Last Jedi and the sequel trilogy and all of this stuff. And the thing is, just like I was talking about yesterday, man, just find a different way, man. You got to hear people out. So this guy goes and makes this nearly hour-long video, 47 minutes and some odd seconds long, talking about, and he's sitting there, and believe me, I was laughing at this video, okay? I was entertained. These kinds of things I don't take offense to, okay? But he went out there and was, because he's definitely like, he's definitely in favor of the new sequel trilogy and everything like that, and that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. I mean, I like The Force Awakens. I did like that. That's like The Force Awakens was probably, like, in the theater, one of the most beautiful movies I ever seen on screen. You know what I mean? And The Last Jedi, while I like the movie, it's okay. And I've talked about this before. It's got more things in it that I don't like than things that I do. But it's just not so enjoyable for me to watch, is what it is. And I'm not like the hugest Star Wars fan these days, but I thought the movie was okay. But again, it's got more things in it that I don't like than I do. And even in this movie, there's some beautifully shot scenes. I mean, it's got some great graphics. I mean, it's got some good qualities about it. It's not wholly terrible. So anyway, this guy goes and makes this 50-minute long video griping about people, the Phantom Menace. If in case you guys don't know who the Phantom Menace are, you can go and get on the internet and find out everything they had to say about it. And the internet isn't the best place to find certain things on that, because again, you're going to find people's personal opinions on it. Now, as far as I know, the Phantom Menace is just, a group of people, not even just content creators, just a group of people who didn't necessarily like not only the Last Jedi, but some of what's been going on in Star Wars since, in this new sequel trilogy. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. People are entitled to have their opinions about these movies. But the thing is like, these days I've noticed, like, people, like, it's not okay to have your own opinion. Like, you have to agree with me, or you're the bad guy. You're wrong. You're just wrong. And I'm going to drag you through the dirt to prove how wrong you are, because that makes me right. You being wrong makes me right. Right? Isn't that how all this works? I don't know. I could be wrong here, but the thing is this guy goes and makes this hour-long video talking about the Phantom Menace, his review of the Phantom Menace, and really all it is he makes a bunch of jokes, laughing about just like his points of view about the Last Jedi and all of the haters and things like that, and that's fine. You can feel how you want. You can pull up all the box office numbers and all these things you want to. You can pull up all the clips you want to about Kathleen. The possibility that Kathleen Kennedy was going to be getting fired from Star Wars and all that stuff. And it just gets a bit ridiculous. Like, okay, and and I've seen people. He was talking about the numbers for the movies and how it's like, oh, people saying it's a flop or it's not good. And it did this good in the box office. And and the thing is like, just because a movie does good at the box office doesn't mean it's good. It just means a lot of people went and seen it. Okay. And, and again, you're entitled to have your own opinions about these things. But the thing I didn't like about this was exactly what I was talking about yesterday. It's so funny this happened yesterday after the conversation that I had with you all, is the fact that, I said in there, like, try listening to people, try understanding, you don't have to, try a different approach to these things. And then I see this video and he's going in there and he's slamming, he used the different people out there. He used Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. He used, that Star Wars girl, Anna. He used Josh from the Den of Nerds and just various other content creators who have made videos talking about The Last Jedi or even just like Star Wars altogether and how much they haven't liked some of the new movies. And I find this, like his approach, it was, I don't know, I thought it was funny. I was laughing throughout the whole video. I was just chuckling because, like I said, I'm just here to be entertained. I don't, this guy's opinion, hey, he's entitled to his opinion. That's fine. And the thing is I had, a couple of friends were like, yeah, this is kind of offensive. Like, I'm like, this is kind of upsetting. And the thing is that's fine. If that's how you feel about it, that's cool. You're entitled to feel that way. You know what I mean? You have every right to feel that way. And the thing is like, he's sitting there talking about, and the thing that I found the most funny, like the thing that I didn't like about it was calls the video his review of the Phantom Menace. And then you go in there and he's talking about Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. He's part of the Phantom Menace. I think anybody knows that, if you know who the Phantom Menace is and you follow them. And then, and then he goes in and he talks about Anna from, he used clips of Anna, for, that Star Wars girl. She's part of the Phantom Menace. Okay, fine. And he just used some of these different creators. But then the thing I found funny was he used Josh from the Den of Nerds, okay, and used a bunch of clips from the Den of Nerds and everything. And I'm sitting there like, and he even used Grace Randolph also. And like, I'm totally unaware that Grace Randolph is part of the Phantom Menace. I had no clue that Grace Randolph was part of the Phantom Menace. And if you don't follow Grace Randolph, she does, what is that, Beyond the Trailer, I believe, is her channel. And I'm not sure if I'm still subscribed to her channel or not. I don't know. She's not for everybody, I'll tell you that much. But the thing I found was like they put Josh from the Den of Nerds in there, and I'm like, along with Grace Randolph too, and I'm just like, bro, do you even know what you're talking about? I don't think Grace Randolph is part of the Phantom Menace, and Josh from the Den of Nerds certainly isn't. And you're painting some of these people to be haters, okay? And I can tell you one thing, that Josh from the Den of Nerds, he's not a hater, bro. Josh from the Den of Nerds, he just runs a geeky channel, running down a lot of these clickbait videos and, making sense of them. And he talks about the news. That's really about it. I don't think Josh from the Den of Nerds is any way a hater. of Star Wars, Disney, or anything like that. He's a pretty well balanced guy. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's trying to grow a brand. He's trying to grow a good brand of a channel, and something that appeals to a lot of people. Of course, we all know that you can't appeal to everybody. That's just not how it is. That's not how life works. Drew Boss 5, thank you for being here. Welcome. I hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a good morning. If it's still morning time where you're at, I'm out here on the West Coast, so it's just after 8 for me. It's 8:20. But and this just kind of gets to me. And again, this guy's entitled to his opinion. I don't hate the guy. I mean, like I said, I was laughing through half of the video. Man, I was rolling. I was dying laughing through half the video. But the thing is, and I even went, because some people shared it on Twitter and stuff like that, and was talking about it, and this guy and his sharing and everything. And some people are like, "Oh yeah, amen, man. Like I feel you. Like I wish I was as ballsy as you, or I wish I could do that," and just all these things. Like, well, you can, you can. It doesn't take bravery. You're making videos. It doesn't take bravery to make videos, bro. All you got to do is just make a video and say what you feel. That's exactly what I do. Is I say what I feel, and I share my opinions with you all. And I can guarantee you there are people probably watching this stream right now, or watching my videos, or subscribe to my channel that don't agree with everything that I say. Now, the one thing that nobody's ever came to say on my channel, and honestly, you might be able to make an argument, but because people talk a lot about shilling and stuff like that. Like, I just like movies, man. I like a lot of what the MCU has done and things like that. And is it perfect? But not by any means. But the thing is, I share my opinions too. But the thing is I don't have to beat you over the head with them. I don't have to be over the top and extreme. I don't have to spread the hate. That's just not what I do. There are channels out there that are more hateful than I am. Hateful. I put that in quotes because, like, some of them, there are some channels out there spreading the hate about it. But there's some channels out there who dislike some of these things, and they talk about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean they're spreading hate. But what this dude is doing is exactly that. And, like, I would like to just say he's just looking for attention. Just ignore him. Just ignore him. And you can. You don't have to pay attention. You don't have to. And you can just ignore him. But the thing is, and we were even talking about this, is this guy actually has some valid points in his video, and for anybody to actually really get upset about it really kind of only proves his point and plays into the things that he was talking about in the video. And I think that's where the stark contrasts come in all of this stuff is, he brought up some valid points, and some people, may not want to hear them all. The truth is ugly. The truth isn't easy, to take. Some people can't swallow the truth. It's not always nice. You know what I mean? And while I think this guy's video was a complete joke, he's throwing people under the bus again. But like I said, I even said on my Twitter, I get what he's getting at here, but there's no reason to take aim at some of these undeserving people. And the thing is, like, we all, you reap what you sow. You get back what you put out there. And not always, because people talk a lot about karma and all this stuff. Karma's a bitch and all that. Like, for one, I don't believe in karma. Karma's not real. Okay, the universe is just that. It's the universe. It all balances out in the end. Is that karma? No, not really. Because if karma was a bitch, I can guarantee you there's a lot of people out there that karma hasn't hit yet, and it's probably not going to. People that are very deserving of it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's, so karma's not real. Now the thing is this guy takes aim at certain people that just aren't deserving of it. And like I said, even EVS went on there, Ethan Van Sciver went on there, and on my comment, and was like, yeah, even Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers is undeserving. And while I agree, like, nobody's really deserving of these kinds of, and I'm not even going to say attacks, because they're not attacks. They're just, these comments and stuff like that. Like, the thing is he's put himself out there definitely many times to, I don't know, I guess you could say for this kind of stuff to happen to him. You know what I mean? And by no means does that mean he's a terrible guy or anything like that. It's just some people put themselves out there more to these types of criticisms than others. Certainly Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers has done that. Anna's been pretty loud and opinionated on things. Grace Randolph, she's like that too. But again, the one I really take issue with is just Josh from the Den of Nerds, man. Like, I just don't get this. To me, it seems like this guy obviously knows who all these people are. And then he just takes aim at Josh, and no, He's the last dude you need to take aim at over these things. While he doesn't like, and I'm just spitballing here. I don't know. I'm just from the best of my knowledge, he doesn't necessarily like The Last Jedi. Does that make him a hater? No, he just didn't like it. And again, you can go to Josh from the Den of Nerds and ask him, but I can tell you, he's probably like me. He's probably, some things about it he likes and some things he don't. And the thing is I just have a problem with that because this dude's making this video aimed at the Phantom Menace, and to me it's just seeking attention. Okay, he's just seeking attention, and everybody's giving it to him. And that's the bad thing. That's the bad thing is, and even I'm here doing it right now. But the thing is again, I think the one thing is when it comes to these kinds of things is you got to keep yourself open to open to the conversation. And I think, maybe that's what this guy was attempting to do is maybe he's just trying to invoke, and I think he is seeking attention, and maybe he's trying to find some different kind of way to spark some sort of different conversation or something. But again, I think there's ways to go about doing that. You can have all your criticisms without going and doing what he did. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, like, he claims not to care about these things, and he says all these people were crazy and all of this stuff, but yet you had to go and make an hour-long video about it. An hour-long video. I don't even want to guess how much time you spent digging through YouTube to find all of these videos and clip them all together just to fit your little narrative. And, things are taken out of context and all that kinds of stuff. Yeah, sure. I mean, that happens. That's just what we do, right? Because, we want to get people to feel the same way that we do. So I understand where he's coming from there, but again, making some of these unfair judgments, like I said, on Josh from the Den of Nerds, man, that just didn't set well with me. But also, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Den of Nerds. I like Josh over there at the Den of Nerds. They make some great content, and like I said, these other people, like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, I don't follow Geeks and Gamers. They just don't put out enough consistent content that I enjoy. But occasionally they come across, on your YouTube, the little home feed or whatever. They come across there, and occasionally I click on some of the videos and I watch them. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, for me, a lot of the channels, it comes down to consistency of your content and what you're putting out. If you don't put out enough stuff that I like, I'm probably not going to subscribe. And I can say the same thing about gotta run. Have a great day. Thank you very much, Drew Boss 5. You have a very good day, man. It's Friday, man. It's the end of the week. Hopefully it's the end of your work week. If not, man, I feel for you. I've been there. But have a good day. And the thing is like, even like Ethan Van Sciver, his channel, I'm not subscribed. I don't follow it, but I get on there and watch some of his videos. Dude's pretty funny. He cracks me up at times. And again, all of these people, and there's other channels out there like at Chat, Girls with Sabers, some of these other channels, that are basically like the opposition, or on the opposite side of channels like Geeks and Gamers and things like that. I follow them too. I watch some of their videos. I'm just open like that, man. I don't like to pass harsh judgments on people, and I also feel like people can be fans in their own way, no matter how it is. And they're entitled to their own opinions. But at the same time, I honestly don't think that any of these people have to just go out there and take swings at people in this way. You know what I mean? But you can. I don't have any problem with it. That's what your YouTube content creators for. That's what your content creators for is to do that, to share your feelings and just things like that. And maybe he was just being facetious. Maybe he's just being funny. Maybe he's just seeking attention. And I think essentially that's what we all kind of do here on YouTube. And again, I just think it's wrong, in some of these sort of ways is to do that, because it's like it closes yourself from having a dialogue. But I do think that what he did is important because I think in some sort of way it still opens the door to have that discussion, to have that open dialogue. And maybe, and I do think this all the time, is a lot of these people, everybody, even myself at times, I'm sure, is and that's why I always try to be objective about stuff, is like everybody needs to take a step out and look at yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror. Take and look at your videos or what you're doing and think about, try to get how you feel, get your perceptions out of your head and think about, okay, like if I was outside of this fandom, if I wasn't a fan of Star Wars, I was just getting into Star Wars. I was never into Star Wars, but I went to Disneyland and went to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and really liked it. I'm like, hey, maybe I'll check out this Star Wars stuff. And you get in here on YouTube or anywhere else, and you start looking up Star Wars stuff, and you come across a lot of these channels and things, and you imagine what it looks like being that person. You know what I mean? You probably look at it and be like, this isn't for me. I'm good. I'll stick with whatever else is that you're nerdy about. And I think there's people out there that are like that. In that sense, because like some people just don't want to see that, but you got to think about how it looks to other people. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like what I was talking about yesterday. When you got these harsh criticisms of things, that's fine. But and you can voice those opinions. But at the same time, if there's people out there that are new, you got to bring them. If you want them to love Star Wars too, you can get them into the Star Wars that you love. Whether you're whether you love the original trilogy, whether you love the prequel trilogy, or whether you love the sequel trilogy, there's ways to get other people into it. You know what I mean? All you got to do is take them, these new people who don't really know, who might be turned away by all the divide and everything in the nerd community when it comes to these kinds of things, and just be like, hey man, don't worry, here, just come here, watch these movies, just watch these movies. These are what we love. This is what we love about it. You got to get them into it, and then after that, then you can start to have the conversation of, well, what did you like about it? Did you like it? Oh, you didn't like it? Oh, well, it's not for everybody. Or, oh, you did like it. Well, what did you like about it? And oh, okay. Well, you like these things about it. Well, some of those things you like, I don't like for these reasons. It's simple. You know what I mean? It's taking a little bit of it's taking a little bit of understanding in these things to kind of bring people into it, and then you can you got to get the people into the fandom, and then you can start spreading, sharing some more of those different things. I gotta get that arrow print. Oh yeah, the poster. Yeah, I got that from my local comic shop, man. And thanks for being here, Young Rip. I appreciate it. Great stream last night, man. Great stream. I was on that one for quite a while. Well, I think till you ended it. I think I was there till the very end. But again, like this guy goes out there and makes this video, taking shots at all of these people, and again, I think this is just some dude that's out there seeking attention, and he's getting it. I seen before I even started my stream here that Lethal Lightning was doing a video about this guy's video, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's what we're all here for, is to share our opinions, and to critique some of these different things going on. And again, this guy that did this video he's just seeking attention, and again, he's getting it. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, because I think it opens the dialogue for people like to maybe take a look at themselves and see exactly what we're looking at, what we're talking about here. Are there people out there who don't like The Last Jedi, who are kind of hateful about it? Sure there are. And are there people out there who love The Last Jedi and are a little over the top in sharing their love of it? Of course. And what happens whenever most of these people hear the opposition is they just close the door. They just close the door. They don't even want to hear it. Are you talking about the guy that went after the Phantom Menace? Yeah, talking about that guy. And again, like I said, I was chuckling at his video. I was laughing almost the whole way through. But again, it just didn't set well with me, because the one thing is, like I said, Josh over at the Den of Nerds, I don't even know why he was in that video. Like when I first seen him, I'm like, dude, what's this guy even doing on the video? He's not part of the Phantom Menace. Grace Randolph isn't part of the Phantom Menace. There's all of these different things, and again, I believe this guy is just out there seeking attention, and he's getting it. But at the same time, to start that dialogue, you can do it in a different way. But again, I mean, you do it whatever way you want, and he apparently did that. And obviously a lot of people are going to take issue with that, and on Twitter, everybody's reacting to it, responding to it, and again, that's what he wanted. He's out there, he made some ultimate clickbait to get people into his video, and it worked. And like I said, there's times I like some of the things I agree with the guy. Some of the things I'm like, yeah, no. Because again, like I've realized through all of this whole debacle since the sequel trilogy has come out, whether it was The Force Awakens or even The Last Jedi, I realized when all these people started getting upset about stuff is, I grew up loving Star Wars, and I realized at that point, like, man, maybe I I obviously don't like Star Wars as much as some of these other people do, because I just don't take it that seriously. Like I see the movie I don't like, I'm just like, all right, I don't like it, and here's why, and that's pretty much about it when it comes to those kinds of things. But again, I don't know. Like it was as I was talking about yesterday, is just finding a different approach to get other people into this conversation. I mean, the guy just comes out taking swings at people to get the other people into this conversation, which had to be his whole point. And you don't have to do all that. And that's the thing, when we come to Twitter or YouTube or anything, everything's so convoluted that you can't just have a civil conversation. And that's the beauty of well, like Young Ripper, for instance. He's open and willing to hear other people's arguments and discuss them, in sane and rational ways. But again, like he was even saying in one of your streams the other day, where I don't get invited by this certain group of people. I don't get invited by liberal publications because they don't want to have that conversation in most cases. And maybe it's not because they don't have weak arguments. It's because they're the kind of people who are out there who just want to put the fingers in their ears and not hear what people have to say. Like it's my way or the highway. And unfortunately, this guy going out there and doing these kinds of things, I mean, you're just shutting yourself out from the conversation, and you don't help anything move along. You're not helping. You're only helping your side, which ultimately is hurting. Because if they're going to make this niche content like this, like where like, okay, these films are just aimed at these people, you're shoving everybody else away. And that's not how you're going to continue the franchise. That's how you're going to kill the franchise. And the same thing happens in the comic books, as we all well know, is if you're going to write these personal politics or these things into your stories, into your movies, you know that people that are watching it continuously and like it, it's because they're who you're going after, and that's who does. And the people who don't, they don't like it. So you're shoving a whole other part of the crowd out, and that's not how you're going to grow your franchise. You've got to find a way, and especially with Star Wars at this point, you've got to find a way to take what people loved about Star Wars and what the new people like about Star Wars and get them back together. Because the one thing, and I've said this a couple of times, is what everybody seems to be forgetting when it comes to this divide that the sequel trilogy has created, is that everybody, all of these people, love Star Wars. Okay. Some of them just don't like what's going on right now. Some of them do like what's going on right now. And I think that's the thing that people seem to forget, is altogether, all these people love Star Wars. And, they're just, and you can go out there and see, like, everybody's like, oh, these people just hate Star Wars. And that's not the case, and that just comes, again, down to understanding and people not wanting to understand. And, for me, I just don't get it. I don't get any of that kind of stuff. To me, it seems absolutely ridiculous. And, again, a lot of people will go out there and call me a fence rider and things like that. And I've certainly been called that when it comes to politics, because like, I don't really discuss my personal politics when it comes to political things out there. Like and that's the weird thing about politics is, these Republicans, these liberals, just all this different stuff. Like, I agree with different ones on different issues. You know what I mean? Like, no one politician is ever going to agree with, or is going to fit everything that I agree with, or things that I want to see. You know what I mean? Like, whether it be abortion, gun control, or any of those types of things. There is no one person out there that we agree with wholeheartedly. And that's what I always find so funny when you get out there and you get into these political discussions and political talks, or even get to the voting booth. And I know certainly young Rip has talked about this too, is you get there and you vote for Trump because it's not Hillary. It's not Hillary. Well, like, what kind of justification is that? I mean, you might as well just, it's okay to go to the voting booth and do exactly what I did this past year. Get on and pick your selections for some of the certain things, and when it comes to having to pick a president, vice president, you don't mark it. You don't have to vote for one of these people. And that's exactly what I did. I can't even remember. I think the last time that I even actually voted for a president was George W. Bush's second thing, and I went and voted for him. And partially for that, part of that reason was because we were kind of like in the middle of a war at the time, and to me, if you ask me, that's probably not the time to just go ahead and change a leadership, whether he's right or wrong, or things are going good or bad. Like, it's probably not the best time. Like, let this ride out, and then, another couple years, hopefully this will all be over. And but we're stuck in a perpetual war anyway. And again, I don't really discuss politics here, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. Again, nobody's gonna see eye to eye when it comes to all these things. Michelle P says everyone on both sides needs to be civil. We really need to talk this divide out. Yeah, and that's the thing is, and that's the thing about it is nobody wants to just be civil about it. I mean, I know I certainly do. I keep myself open to hearing other people's suggestions, and I don't have to go out there and attack them for theirs, because it's absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't further the conversation, and that's ultimately what we need to do when it comes to these things. Whether it's politics, whether it's things, our love of these fandoms, the Star Wars, these comic books, or anything like that, is we got to get an understanding. Where everybody's at to move forward. Like I said, and some of these people are going to do whatever they want to do no matter what, and hey, that's their prerogative, But again, you're getting people out of the picture, and you're only going to this small, very small market of people, and that's just not how you're going to grow a brand. It's not how you move on. Let's see. Young Rip says issue voting is greater than voting for politicians. Yes, exactly, and that's the way I feel about it. Like, I think the only politicians I really vote for are just in our local elections, because those actually affect me. You know what I mean? Like sure, the president does, but it's just such a convoluted conversation. It's just too hard to get into those kinds of things. But again, like I said, this guy's out there seeking attention. He's getting the attention he wants. But what I ask, the one thing I would like to ask of everybody who's on either side of the issue, whether you're Phantom Menace or not, is let's be civil about the discussion. This guy is obviously out there trying to invoke reaction out of you. It's obvious. He's getting the reaction, and that's one of the things I talk about a lot here is reacting out of emotions. So many people are driven by their emotions, and that's not the way. I mean, that's how we are and how we react. But by the time you get on your computer and you click record on your video camera or whatnot, you've had time to think about these things, and try not to be so knee-jerk reactionary. Like don't rely on your emotions to carry you forward into a conversation or anything like that. It's okay to be emotional about them, because these are things that affect us. These are things we feel deeply about. But again, you going out there and just being like attacking this guy on Twitter or whatnot because he made some silly video that, like I said, I was chuckling at, is going at him. I mean, only helps solidify their point of view and his thoughts. It only helps solidify that more, and basically takes him much more like, okay, like I already know where you're at. You're there. You're outside. I'm not going to talk to you. I don't even want to hear it. Again, that's just not the way to approach it. You don't have to play his game. You don't have to go out there and make an attack on this guy for his opinions or some stupid video that he did, because he's getting what he ultimately wanted. He's getting you to react, and he's getting your clicks, and he's getting your views. He's getting his watch time and all of that stuff. And I've talked about this before here too. Controversy sells, hate sells, but is that really what you want to be known for? Is all the hate and all the controversy just causing this divide, when you don't have to? You can sit there and talk about these issues without having to throw people like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers under the bus, or Ethan Van Skyver, or Josh from the Den of Nerds, or Grace Randolph. These are people who have their opinions, and it's perfectly fine to have opinions, and it's perfectly fine to disagree with people about their opinions. It is. I know that might be hard for some people to realize, but it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. 2.0 the Fox. 2.0 the Fox. I've never seen you here on one of my live streams. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. Glad y'all like Arrow. My daughter is fairly new to comics, and she started with that comic. Now we make a weekly trip to our local store, and that's absolutely awesome, man. That's great. And it's funny. I actually just watched Young Ripper's video finally this morning, talking about some of those female characters and things like that. The number ones that have come out this year, and he actually hit the nail right on the head with that Arrow issue 1. It is well written. She's a well-written female character, well introduced. She doesn't go out there and have to step or trample on or make facetious comments, backhanded comments about men or anything like that. I mean, she exists in her own world, and was brought into this world as an original character in a very great way. Snowdub Music and Entertainment, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. And 2.0 Fox again. That's awesome, man. Yeah, get your daughter into reading those comics, man. And again, the one thing that I found, just like the other day, I did my review on Marvel's Fearless the other day. That book, like for me, I wouldn't let my daughters read it. My daughters are 8 and 9 years old, and I wouldn't let my daughters read that. It's aimed, and that's the thing is, I don't know who they were aiming that book at. It's female artists, female writers, female colorists, female heroes. There's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, who better to write a female hero, right? A female. You get the female perspective. But again, the thing is I couldn't let my kids. It's very. It looks like it's aimed at girls, little girls, because if you watch my video, they got this little thing, this little cutout paper dolls where you can go and you can dress them up, and it's all cute for like a 5 or 6 year old that probably can't even read the comic book anyway. But it's aimed at them, and the dialogue and everything that's going on in this book, it's just toxic, and it's not stuff that I would let my children read. But like that Arrow issue 1, sure, yeah, because there's nothing disagreeable in it. It's just a well-written character. It doesn't take kicking somebody down to make yourself look good. It just doesn't have to happen. And unfortunately, for a lot of these writers, directors, and things like that out there, be it in movies, comic books, and things like that, unfortunately, that's what some of them do. Is they have to kick somebody else down in order to prop something else up. And we kind of see that everywhere. And I could say that it's more prevalent nowadays, but I think it's just that everything is so much more in our face nowadays with social media. Because I think a lot of this stuff has always kind of been there, just maybe lurking in the shadows. But, ever since all of these things have really come, these identity politics and all that stuff have come more to the forefront over the past, hell, I don't know, 10 years or so. I mean, and it's been even longer than that. It's just becoming more in our faces. People have gotten more bold out there, especially in the recent years, since 2015, 2016. It's just been an all-out assault on politics, pop culture, and things like that. And people are starting to harness those things to influence people's thoughts and feelings on these things. And that's why, like you're saying with Arrow, I'm glad she enjoyed that. And like I said, I would let my daughter read some of these books, but that's why I read them too, and I do reviews on them. So maybe you guys might know about that, but like I actually read them too, so I can be like read through it and be like, okay, I would let my kids read this. I'd let my kids read this because it's really well written. There's no kind of toxic dialogue or anything in there, or anything that not even that I disagree with, but things that I don't see as fit for my children to read. And unfortunately, there's the whole world out there that they have to learn that from. Whether it's from school, friends, you take them to wherever they may go. All those other things are still out there. What we got to do is limit their exposure to them if they're things that we don't agree with. And the thing is that's not saying that you're going to shut them out. The thing is you got to wait till they're at a point in their life where they know and understand these things before to have these conversations with them. Just like I was having a conversation with my kids just yesterday, just about different things, because they were helping me with my work, helping me process freight and things like that. And I've got a certain way that I want things done, and just different things like that. And I'm sitting there being stern with them, and I could see as I'm sitting there talking to them, as we're all working, they're sitting there like Daddy's being mean. And I explained to them later, as we're sitting down for dinner, like, kids, you guys did an awesome job. Thank you for your help. And I know, I explained to him, I know that you probably think I was being mean in there and that kind of stuff. I don't mean to be mean. I'm just being stern with you because I need things done the way I need them done. That's one of these days you're going to start a job and your boss isn't going to be nice about things. That's not how the world works. But, I explained to him, I appreciate your help. You guys were a huge help. And without your guys' help, I wouldn't have got done as much as I need to get done. I would probably still been working my freight and processing it yesterday. And that's why I explain those things to him. Like, when you get out there in the world, the real world, that's how it is. I'm only letting you know my expectations. I'm not saying that you're doing a bad job. I'm only saying what you need to do to improve. And I think explaining these kinds of things to our kids are one thing that's very important, because they're going to get out there in the world and they're going to see other people acting certain ways, saying certain things, doing certain things, and they've got to know. To be able to distinguish the right from wrong. What would my father think of this? What would my mother think of this? What would my parents think of this? My grandparents, or anything else? How does it look to other people? And that's something I've even told my kids when they're at school. When they're at school, I've got them in karate class and all this stuff. They could defend themselves if they had to, you know what I mean, against these other children. And I always tell them, when they're in karate class, especially, because my kids are in karate class. They do the sparring, they have on the headgear and everything, and they're sparring. And I've seen times, man, I've seen my daughters out there sparring, and they're out there sparring, and there's other kids out there just like just throwing these fists out there all crazy and everything. And I'm telling them, like, and I see them, kind of moving around and trying to block, and I tell them, like, look, these persons are going to go out there swinging all crazy. All you got to do is keep your guard up and wait for the chance to strike. That's all you got to do, and also when they're in class, I've seen them sit there and, they're sitting there and all of a sudden they take one, they take a hit. My daughters have both been hit in the head in karate class. And, one time my oldest daughter got a pretty good lick, and she, she started crying, she got emotional and stuff like that. And, and later, like, she kept going through with the sparring and everything. The sensei stopped her and asked her, like, hey, you all right? You ready to keep going? And she went in and she kept going. And at the end of the class, he even came and said something too. But at the end of the class, before he even got there, I told her, I was like, you know what, sweetie, that was a good thing that happened in there. You got hit in the face and you took the punch. You gathered yourself and you went back at it. You didn't do like some of the other kids do. You get discouraged, you start crying, and you just stop. You're like, I'm good for now. And I told them, that's what you're here in this class for. You're here to get hit and to learn to hit. Now, I don't want you to get hit, and that's what you're learning is your defense. I tell them the same thing in school. If you see something going on in school, be a good role model. Set a good example for people. I don't need you to be the smartest kid in class. I don't need you to have all the straight A's or all. I mean, I want that. I want you to be at least a good student, but you don't have to be the most academically smart. What I want you to do is be a good example for other kids to follow, because there's other kids out there who aren't as fortunate as you and who don't have that good example to follow. They don't have a good home life. They, if you see these things, like, try to find out what's going on, because like I said, not all these people have the best home life and things like that. Reach out to somebody, be a friend. If somebody's being a bully, for one, stop them from being the bully, and then you'll find out what's going on. A lot of things come from misunderstandings, or maybe this kid is being abused at home and that's what he sees, so he goes out and he does this, or she goes out and does this, and that's a lot of how they react. So again, that comes down to filtering what you're allowing your children to see, read, hear, watch out there, that's being put out there by all these other people. So again, I probably went on a little too long about that, but I think it's all relevant to the subject of getting your daughter into the comics. And again, that's an awesome thing. It's something we need more of, because we've heard a lot of people, and that's the thing. People talk about the comic book industry like it's dying. Now, I'm sure printed sales are probably down for the big two. Definitely, they've got a lot of divisive things put in their books, but altogether, I mean, I don't know if comics are actually dying. I think just the big two are losing their footing, because there are plenty of independent publishers out there who are putting out good works, putting out great books, and not even just superhero books, and not even just things aimed at adults. There are, there's people out there doing good things, for kids' books as well. And so, you got to seek those out. And when you find something that you want to get into, I mean, you still got to pre-read it and let what you want your kids to be exposed to and whatnot. And even if there's something out there that you may not want to expose them to, I mean, it's okay to expose them to that and, read that with them and tell them, tell them your points of view and why you feel the way you do, and maybe, explain things to them. But again, they've got to be at an age where they understand that. When I was, when my kids were babies, I was talking about this yesterday too. I never goo gaga them, any of that crap, dude. Like, I always talked to my kids like they knew exactly what I was saying. I never treated them like they were stupid or anything like that. I always talked to them like they were intelligent human beings. And you know what? I think it's worked. They seem to understand everything that I say. I've never had to go and spank them or anything like that. And I've heard, you could hear a million people out there saying like, oh, spanking is what's wrong with this society. Like, parents need to spank their kids more. And you know what? Come look at my kids and tell me that they need to be spanked. You know what I mean? Please come tell me that. And this is the funny thing is, like, there's a time and a place for spankings, and I've explained this to you. I'm pretty much against spankings, but there's a time and a place for it. And I always feel like if you have to spank your kid, for one, you should do it to a kid that's young enough. But because for one, they need to know exactly why you're spanking them, and have it explained to them what's right and wrong. And to me, I feel if they're at that age where they know right from wrong, and you've already explained all that to them, and you got to spank them, you've already failed at doing what you need to do. You've already failed. at doing it. You failed to talk to them in a rational way, in a rational manner, and get them to understand what's right and wrong. You've already failed there. That you've been so frustrated by what they've done that you've had to spank them. You know what I mean? And it doesn't take that. It doesn't take that. I mean, talk to them like they're smart. You know what I mean? And it's just like the same thing when I see these parents out there with their kids on those little leashes, you know, and so their kids don't run so far, and things like that. Like, you know what? Like pick the kid up and give him a hug. Let him know you love him, and and things like that. And it's okay. You don't have to keep them on a leash. And kids are. It's okay if they roam around. You're in the store. Let them walk around, man. Like, I get it if you're in a big crowd like Disneyland or something, and your kid has a tendency to wander off. Sure, but even then, just pay attention to the kid. Pay attention to the kid. It's something else. I've been to Disneyland. We went there recently, and I see all these parents there. They're there with their kids. You're at the happiest place on earth, and I've seen people sitting there with their kids. It's just that they're having fun, and like they get their kid and like, you better cut it out. You better stop acting like that. Like, how dare you have fun while we're at the happiest place on earth? Whew, terrible. And again, I don't know. Like I said, we got to be careful what we put out there in the world. We got to be careful about the things that, how we approach these discussions. Because again, you're just gonna go out there, everybody in the Phantom Menace with this guy's video is probably sitting there like, dude, like what? They take offense to it, and they're sitting there. Of course they want to react to it, and that's what he was looking for. And my challenge is, any Phantom Menacers out there, you know what? It's fine to react to this dude, but you don't have to treat him like a jerk just because maybe he is one. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. Like maybe sit there and like try to have the rational discussion with him. When you're making your video about his video, come from a place of sanity. Think things out. And I think that's what a lot of the people do. Like I was saying earlier, people react so much on their emotions, which is fine. You can react on them, but do it in the same manner where somebody else watching the video or whatnot can sit there and be like, oh, okay, well, all right. Obviously, this dude took offense to it, and he's got a rational explanation of why he feels the way he feels, like whoever's making the video about it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be so overreactionary, because it's those overreactions that cause people like this guy to go out there and overreact back just to get more reaction out of you. To Snowdub again, slapping the like button. Well, thank you for slapping that like button. And again, feel free to hit the dislike button if you're watching this video and you don't like what I had to say. It's perfectly fine. I don't really look into those kinds of things. You know what I mean? But definitely, by all means, like or dislike this video, because it helps the algorithm. 2.0 Fox says the kids today have been taught that actions don't have consequences as long as you throw a fit. And yeah, and that's true. That's true. And that's the thing, is consequences don't always come down to having to spank people. That's why I hear people so much talk about like oh, they need to have discipline. Well, discipline don't mean you have to spank the shit out of your kid. You know what I mean? Like when I was growing up, my parents, like my mom, she spanked me, definitely. But my dad, he never spanked me. You know what my dad would do? He would set me down and he would talk to me. He would talk and he would do nothing but make sense. And you know what? Every single one of those conversations, it made me feel this small. It made me feel like I wish he would just spank me. I don't want to have to put up with this. And the thing is I didn't want to have to put up with, thinking logically, thinking rationally, because I was a kid. Right? But ultimately, everything he did was, it brought me to where I am right now. You know what I mean? His discipline was setting me down, talking sense, and actually getting me to understand the discipline, getting me to understand why he didn't want me doing this or doing that, or what I was doing wrong. And that's just how it was. Like I remember one time when I was a kid, I took this, me and my cousin, we were fighting or whatnot. He was over for the weekend, and he did something, I can't remember, and I took this dirt clod, and all of a sudden I was like freaking John Elway, okay? Like I took this dirt clod, he was clear across the yard, I took it and I threw it, boom, and it went, smacked him right in the head, man. Smacked him right in the head, and I was like, oh shit. He went inside crying. I was scared, man. I was so scared. And so I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do? So I went and I hid from my parents. I went and I out into the garage, and I hid under my mom's car. And he's out. I heard him come out there. My dad's like, Adam, he's yelling for me, he's looking for me and everything. And my name's Trinity, by the way. Adam is my middle name. But anyway, I was like, oh, under the car. I'm like, oh. He went out there looking for me. He couldn't find me. Next thing you know, my mom went out there. She went out. She was looking for me. She walked right out to the car, looked right under the car. Like she didn't like she didn't even have to guess where I was. She walked right out there, looks under the car, and she's like, "Get out from under that car." And I got out, and she let me have it. She spanked me and stuff, and it was just kind of a whole ridiculous thing. I mean, we were kids, but again, my mom whipped me, and my father sat me down and had a discussion with me, made me feel about this tall, and that did more for me than getting a spanking, than all the spankings did. I got, like when I was in grade school, I got I got swats at the principal for doing some stupid stuff, and of course they called my parents and like, hey, this stuff happened, and my parents like give him swats, and I remember I got swats from the principal, and they got done. They got done with the swats, and I stood up and started laughing at the principal right there because I mean, they were swats. It didn't really hurt. I mean, like my butt, it was hurt for a second, but I was just I got up and I started laughing like, like it was nothing. I mean, and that's the thing is, like when it comes down to these kinds of things, like you like people start to learn to take a beating. If you keep getting beat up, eventually all those punches, all those hits, you're just kind of like, is that all you got? What else you got? You can build up your tolerance to them. You can build up your immune system to that kind of stuff. So, and again, that's the thing is that's what I always tell my kids too when they are throwing a fit. I tell them like, you're not gonna get what you want by throwing a fit. That's not how you get it. My son wants this snack or wants to play this game or whatever, and I tell him no. He throws, and it doesn't really happen very often. But I tell him, you're not gonna get what you want by acting that way. I guarantee you will not get what you want by acting that way. You gotta be good. You gotta do what we ask. That's how you get what you want. By being a good kid, by doing what we say, by doing what we ask, and things like that. Like I said, consequences and discipline doesn't always mean you have to beat your kid. And like I said, if they're to the age where they understand that they're doing something wrong and you have to spank them, well, it's already too late. It's already too late. You've already failed at that part of your parenting, and that doesn't make you a bad parent. I'm not saying that makes you a bad parent. It just means you've already failed in that aspect of whatever it is that you're dealing with at that time. But yeah, anyway, that's just a couple feelings I had. Like I said, this guy goes out there and makes this video trying to invoke reaction out of everybody, trying to get attention from everybody. It's just like everybody else out there, in this social media world is, people are out there, they're going to beg for attention in one way or another. And he did it, and he's getting the attention that he wants. He's getting the clicks that he wants. He's getting the views that he wants. He's getting the reactions that he wants. But again, I mean, you're completely free to go out there and give it to him. You know what I mean? But give it to him in the right way. Don't let him win, because all the reactions, everything he's getting, he's winning. He's winning. Like, and that's fine if he's winning. Like whatever. You guys can give that to him. But the more you react to the way he wants you to, the more he's won. The more he's won. Like, I think if anything, we need to all reach out to this guy and pull him in and be like, hey, bro, like, what's your deal? Maybe one of these, maybe I'll see if I can reach out to this dude. I'm just a small dude, man. You can see on my channel, man, I've got like 300 and some odd subscribers, dude. I'm not a big channel, but I'd be more than willing to reach out to this dude and be like, hey, man, you want to come on my live show and let's have a discussion about this and see what's really going on? Like, what's your deal? Maybe he's just a Raylo shipper that has a problem with everybody in the Phantom Menace, and that's fine, But the thing is, let's try to have this civil discussion with him. At least start it off civil, he already cast the first stone. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean you have to throw stones back. You can get hit with the stone and be like, oh, come on, dude. Like, is that all you got? Is that all you got? Because chances are, I can almost guarantee you. I went through this dude's video feed and everything on his channel, and I can tell you, if you ask him if that's all he's got, I can almost guarantee you, that's all he's got. He only has he's only got his reactions. He's only got the ability to invoke reactions out of you. I guarantee you, he don't have much else. I guarantee you he don't have much else than that. So again, that's why I say, he's throwing stones, let him throw stones. You know what I mean? But once he's done throwing his stones, pull him and be like, hey, bro, like, what's your deal? And the deal is he's probably just one of these other no talent asshats out there who has to try to make a name for himself by seeking attention. And He's doing it. He's getting it. So again, like I said, for me, let's not give him the satisfaction. Let's take him in and try to have at least a, somewhat of a conversation with him. And you know what? Just tolerate what he has to say. Tolerate his point of view. So just until you get till we get to the bottom of the discussion and realize ultimately in the end that he's probably just some no talent turd out there trying to invoke reaction from everybody out there in the Phantom Menace, or even not in the Phantom Menace. In the case of Josh and the Den of Nerds, like, bro, what are you doing? And that's the thing that gets me. That's why I say he's probably one of these no talent asshats out there, because all he can do is evoke a reaction from you guys. Okay, that's all he's got. I guarantee it. And I've seen it 100 times. Like all these people out there. I got in this Twitter thing with this dude the other day. You don't have no talent. That's all you've got, is trying to invoke a reaction out of me or anybody else. So again, I say, you can take offense to his videos and stuff like that, but again, man, that's all he wants. That's all he wants, because I guarantee you get him on and start talking to him, he'll be like, well, I just feel this way about the film. People feel this way, and I guarantee he don't really have a good defense for some of the things he did, calling out some of the people he did, or let alone calling any of them out, because basically all he's saying is you can't have your own opinion. That's really all he's saying, and that's why I say he's probably just another one of these knockoff no talent asshats that's just gonna go out there and just voice his opinion, and that's really all he's got. And maybe that's all really any of us got. It's just our own opinions and how we feel about it. But not all of us have to go out there and cast stones at people and try to drag them into this conversation and invoke reactions at them. Not all of us have to do that. You know what I mean? Drunk Threepio, welcome to the stream. Yes, man. Yeah, I was talking a nice star of Satan. Oh, that's Thrax. Anthrax. That's the Thraxogram. See, it's got the little A there. Anthrax. One of my favorite bands, man, ever since I was growing up. Thrash band from the New York area. Love that band, man. And you know what? And maybe that's part of the way I am too. If you ever go listen to Anthrax and some of their lyrics, I guess you could say they're kind of an influence of mine as well. They talk a lot about in their lyrics and stuff, talk about a lot about these same kinds of things, like just knowing that there's people out there full of hatred, and knowing that that's not what's going to ultimately win anything for us, like a lot of it comes down to patience and understanding, and maybe tolerance. And again, that doesn't mean you have to agree with anybody. It just means that you're willing to keep yourself open and have a conversation when it comes to anything. And I'm guaranteeing you that this guy that we're talking about here today on the stream, he probably don't. And again, Drink 3P, he's I know, man, just joking. Oh, yeah, no, it's with Anthrax, one of my favorite bands. Well, you can see I've got the Cottonmouth Kings right there as well. I'm not going to say what that means in Chinese. I'm not sure if you can. It means something in Chinese, but can you figure out what that is? I mean, it's right there next to the Cottonmouth Kings tattoo, so you could probably guess. You could probably take a guess. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have for this video today, folks. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Now, if you don't already know, every single Friday I do, which is today, I do a live stream at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time called the Trailer Park Live, in which I talk about some of the comic books that I pulled for the week. And boy, do I got some things to talk about this week when it comes to the comic books. And I get in, and then after that I get in and talk with you all here in the live stream just about different things and what's on my mind. But it's my Friday night show, the Trailer Park Live, is definitely more of an R-rated version of me. I here on these morning chats, I try to keep it PG in my videos. I usually just kind of give my opinions and my reviews on books, movies, and things like that. And they are my biased opinions, but I leave a lot of what I do on the Trailer Park Live out. I save that specifically for my Friday night live show, because it's late at night and hopefully your kids are asleep while I'm sitting here ranting and raving and cussing and just being absolutely silly. But again, thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel today. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed. Click the little bell so you get notifications anytime I have uploaded new content. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't, because you're that guy that went and made this video attacking a bunch of people, give it a thumbs down. I greatly appreciate it. And you know what? While you're at it, make sure you leave comments down in the comment section on this video, especially if you're the guy who made that video, because I'd love to hear what you had to say, because I don't think you really have much to say in the first place. Thank you all again so much for tuning in to Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your great rest of your week. Have a great day. And if you're not here for the Trailer Park Live tonight, have a great weekend, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.